So we said we weren't professors anymore. Well, I guess now move over, Darren. We are GMs. We out here looking to make moves. 5 moves that we would make to turn this team around, turn everybody's frowns upside down, and finally get this team where they need to be. This is a very exciting topic, actually. So you don't want to miss it. I am right here, so I'm not going to miss it. We are live. It's Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, jet, let's go! J-E-T-S, jet, let's go! There you go, Woody!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there,
Nice.
baby.
Boy Green
Meets Wudi.
Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy James Wudi, and you already know we are Wudi, rocking everywhere. Right here next to me, rocking the Bart shirt. Come on now. He is none other than the boy who became king, Mr. Paul Esden Jr. in the building. How are you doing, my good sir?
Well, doing a whole heck of a lot better than you, pal. You sound like you're on life support, for God's sakes. Beep, beep, beep. So hopefully we can, turn. You were talking about the audience turning their frowns upside down. Hopefully we can turn your deathly terminal illness into jubilation in life. So hopefully we can.
Yes, we'll see. Might have to get hooked up to IV, man. I don't know. But yeah, now the fam, we got hit. All of us fell down, one right after the other. Flu, fever. We're talking, 103. Numbers that we're not trying to see unless we're looking at the Knicks. But we will. This shall pass.
Sure. That's the way to do it. And yes, DJ Dirty Cooch, who says, is that the one and only DJ Fuck Me? Yes, the host of Once Upon a Time, Keeping It Fresh, PHRESH, baby. The WNYO radio show, 88.9 FM here in Oswego, New York. So for anyone that was listening to those hip-hop tunes like 12 years ago, God bless.
Hey. Well, we definitely, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one excited. But we, as a fan base, have spoken a lot about, the season, how terrible it was, what is seemingly the deepest coaching pool in NFL history right now. And we've harped on a lot of news, but I don't think too many people are actually. And this is a huge thing just in sports in general, is that a lot of the yapping is for the sake of yapping, is to again respond to news and all that type of stuff. But this is how can we actually fix things? And as you guys know, that's something that's very important to me, because I'm tired of being the butt of the joke. That's why I've been trying to fire Aaron Glenn. My man can't even secure interviews with DC candidates because they know how much he stinks. So this is a way, and I'm assuming we didn't. I did not. Because that obviously would be a very cop out answer. Fire Aaron Glenn. He sucks. I did not do that.
That's very nice. I appreciate
that. That I think could actually happen.
Right. Yeah, that's yes, right. Let me spoiler alert. On my list is not trading for Patrick Mahomes. That's did not make it to my top 5. So yes, right. These are all things I think can legitimately happen. Yes, I think that's a good basis to sort of explain before we start. 5 moves we would make that could actually happen. Yes. Yep.
Perfect. So I guess do you want to start us off?
Sure. Okay. Again, am I starting at 5 or 1, Wudi?
One, the most important move, the biggest move, whatever move that is.
All right. Hit it, voice
Number
guy.
one.
Number 1. And I put a lot of thought into my little notebook here, putting together the perfect plan to concoct. And the number 1 thing here on my sheet that I have in front of me here is I want to sign on the dotted line Jacksonville Jaguars linebacker Devin Lloyd in free agency. I want Devin Lloyd. I think he's exactly, well, like before I even get to the Devin Lloyd piece, I want to talk about the void and thus what Devin Lloyd would fill. Our defense entirely was abomination. Look at our defensive report card show, for God's sakes. I mean, it was terrible. But really, the heartbeat of the defense is where the Jets really fell apart. I love Quincy. He's going to go to greener pastures, and good for him. I hope he finds a good spot. I enjoyed his time here. I enjoyed his development. There was a beautiful story. Jamin Sherwood, we will see if he gets traded this offseason or the next defensive coordinator likes the cut of his jib and he stays. And then Francisco Mauigoa was just very mid. So there was a gaping, massive hole in the middle of the Jets defense, and they so desperately need a leader. And I think Devin Lloyd can be that leader. Not only, and here's how it all sort of sets up. The Jaguars declined his 5th-year option before this past season. So he is scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent. And according to Spot Track, his calculated market value is he is expected to command a 3-year deal for over $60 million at $20.1 million per season. And that is quite rich. But, in free agency, you got to overpay people. That's just how the nature of the beast works. And I got a chance to speak to Devin Lloyd before his draft. He's 27 years old. This is a guy that is coming off an absolutely spectacular season. He's 6'3", 235 pounds. So the weight may scare some people off, but the production sure as hell won't. He had so many big plays, 5 picks, including a 99-yard pick 6 against the Chiefs, which was awesome. Fumble recoveries, sacks, tackles for loss, quarterback hits. I mean, he just stuffed the stat sheet of everything. And then just like I said, from an intangible perspective, he was the heartbeat of that Jacksonville defense. So I want to take the beating heart like Last of the Mohicans. I want to take it from Jacksonville and plug it into our New York Jets defense. And yeah, that's the first move, baby. I go all in to sign this man. And I just want to provide some additional context here because, again, we want to make moves that are realistic, Wudi. Right now, we'll play. It's not really trivia. How much cap space do you think the Jacksonville Jaguars have?
I actually have no clue.
Of course. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. All right. It is negative 22 million. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is 27th in the NFL. The franchise tag for the linebacker position is 27 million. So for Jacksonville to even consider tagging Devin Lloyd, they would have to create beep, boop, bop, 50 million in cap space to cover up the net loss and the net gain of what they would require to pay Devin Lloyd, which they don't have. So to me, there is a path for him to reach free agency. He is a very talented player, and the Jets can take advantage. Give me Devin Lloyd, baby. Number 1.
That is very, very interesting. Everything you just said.
Oh,
and I don't disagree.
Oh, okay.
Devin Lloyd would be a game changer. That we talking about, potentially, CJ Mosley type, energy for a long time, right? If you sign him to the deal that you're talking about. I think the reason why I'm most interested is because I'm looking at my own list and I'm like, oh wow. And we're gonna see when that gets there. But yeah, I mean, clearly the defense is a problem. Clearly, they remember I used to make the joke, Aaron Glenn's daycare. Everyone, oh, you over the age of 24, you out. You need veterans. Like veterans, they help the young players, grow. They help them off the field so much. Just as how CJ did to Quincy and Jamie, and they also can help be like a bridge to the coaches. So hopefully that's one of the many mistakes that AJ realizes that he made and can help bring in. And not to say Devin Lloyd is he only 27. So I'm not trying to say he's a grizzly veteran, but that is older than the age that they seem to be, cutting people off. So, great pick, Boy Green.
Okay. I don't know how often you're going to say that, so let me take a few pictures of that. It'll last longer. All right, Woody, let's go to your
number 1.
Hydrate up, please. We want to make sure you're the pipes are smoking and ready to roll here.
I really think you got to sign Kyler Murray. Like, I was just looking at this. The QB situation is actually way worse this year than it was last year. Of course, last year, you already had a quarterback and AG got rid of him. But it's so bad that I personally wouldn't even be mad if they decided to keep Fields on the roster during the year. Because the way I see it, you have the 3 veterans that have recently been, talked about, who I'll talk about, and all these guys who are this year's Justin Fields. For you to talk to me about, oh, Malik Willis played 2 games and, I think he is about to be a competent starter for a completely different organization for a season. I don't want to say anything too mean, but, you should probably put your faith in other things. So there's a lot of those, right? Mac Jones is another one of those. He's just lighter skin. All of those, I wouldn't put any eggs in those baskets. So now let's go to the 3 veterans. Geno Smith, absolutely garbage.
Wow.
What were you expecting? Are you serious? What? He has 32 picks in the last 2 seasons. I feel like he was heavily overrated. That one season in Seattle where
2022.
Yes. He ain't right back. They've been writing. I don't know if he's been seeing that, but they have been writing back. And he's not 2 different teams, 32 picks. He's not good. Tua, who, his name sounds worse than it is because, nationally, what does everyone know Tua for? It's what was
Tua?
Oh, I mean that's
what I thought you were saying. Getting a little pop culture reference in there. Tua.
That's pretty funny, but no. What do they know? Tua Tagovailoa for? Is throwing up gang signs during the games, always having concussions. And I don't think he's the worst quarterback. He's probably still top 30. But the concussions, and I saw an interview with his tight end this year, Darren Waller, that was in practice, he looks amazing. every single week. But during the game, like he feels like it is like a subconscious PTSD that like he cannot perform the same during a game because of all the damage, the hits, the neurological damage that he's endured. So with people throwing out big words like that, I'm good on Tua. So that literally leaves me with Kyler Murray. Kyler still don't understand the massive hate for Kyler. You can say if you're one of those who like judges a QB solely like by like how many games did they win in their first 6 years, then yeah, okay, you can say Kyler hasn't done too much, but his stat lines are pretty clean. Time in and time out. Right, he used to have a lot of interceptions, not so much anymore. He played 5 games this year. He looked solid. Sorry, excuse me. Got injured, and the team only won one more game all year. So, if you're gonna try to tell me that Kyler wasn't important to the success of his team or anything like that, I mean, what that should show you is that the team around him. I know Trey McBride is a fantasy football superstar. No argument there. And Michael Wilson just, emerged as a fantasy viable player as well. But their problem, if we're talking about wins since getting drafted, is that they have been in one of the league's toughest divisions with, pretty bad rosters. And yet they still have had an 8-8 season, a 9-5 season, another 8-9 season. So what we're gonna get with Kyler is what you guys thought you were gonna get with Fields: accurate thrower, somebody who can use their legs and arm to convert on third downs. And he's just way, I promise you, way, way, way better than any of those part-time guys that I already mentioned before, and definitely better than the veteran guys. And his like all the Gino. How old is Gino? He's been in the league
35.
My God, damn! He should just be going to the nursing home right now. Kyler, he's still in his 20s. Like
27. Yep.
He there is still more to be written, and he's hungry to show. That's another thing. Like the motivation that he will have is going to be unparalleled because he is a young kid in his 20s who's looking to prove that he is a franchise QB, and he was looking to prove that to the world. Like this is actually the perfect storm to try to secure him.
By the way, real quick, Dirty Cooch saying, Kyler, yikes, BG, 1-0. Woo-woo! Appreciate that. Thank you. But no, in all seriousness, a quick follow-up, because you said you would be willing to sign him. If he gets cut, so you'd be willing to sign him. Okay. Would you be willing to trade for him, Wudi, as a follow-up? If they don't, because there's been some rumors that Michael Bidwell, who is the owner of the Cardinals, may say, maybe a cheap bastard, say, you know what, I refuse to cut him. I'd trade him, but I'm not going to cut him and take the embarrassment of that. Would you be willing to trade for him if that was the only way to get Kyler? James Wudi.
That's a tricky situation because I have absolutely zero interest in taking on his large contract. So
$30 million.
I would trade, with the Cardinals taking that on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, where you could rearrange the deal as part of the negotiations.
Yeah. But there's no way. Like, and when I say, some sort of arrangement, we talking half at least. Like, unfortunately,
which again, if I'm the other team, right? So if I'm on the outside, I'm like, Cardinals, if you cut him, you have to eat everything. If I come and save you, even if it's a penny less than you have to give him. So, like, I think that's a position of power for the Jets or any team that would be willing to even view Kyler in that way with all the baggage that they'd be like, yeah, we'll take him. So I think that will be a position of power. So to your point, I think they have to at least eat 50% and maybe more. And then that's part of the negotiation of maybe, the pick that is given up. I think it's going to be late round compensation if a trade even occurs, or the teams are going to call the bluff and say, we know you're going to cut him, so go ahead. So interesting.
Yes. So, if not, like I don't even know plan B, like at QB, like that's how bad this pool is. So
we might get to that later. Later, Wudi, who that other guy could be. But Wudi, real quick, just a point of clarity, how you want to do this. Are we just going 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, or are we alternating like you get the first whack at 2? You tell us how this is operating, sir.
Sure. I feel like that's kind of fun. We can do
Okay.
2. We can do my 2.
Okay, all right, then let's hit it.
Number 2.
If you guys know anything about me, you might be able to even guess what this is going to be.
Wow. Okay.
Because I've been saying it forever. Yep. Oh, damn! Look at that. I think you just wrote it because it's clearly re-signed Brees Hall. That's what.
Okay. Nice.
I've been saying from the jump. A mid-year extension would have been nice too. They extended who they extended? Rucker and who else?
Josh Myers.
Josh Myers, yeah, so they could have. But again with Brees, he probably don't want to come back. Just like those DC candidates, just like everybody, because this team stinks. But I'm willing to overpay. Just like how you were willing to overpay with Devin Lloyd. I think it's a super necessary aspect to have to the team. And you're going to need that, when you have your young QB, which clearly isn't this year, but for next year. So the deal that I'm signing is actually the same deal that I've said this whole entire time. 3 years, 36 mil. Brees Hall, come on down. Welcome back. Okay. Brees Hall. Back on the squad. Garrett, come on now. The boys are back in town.
Thin Lizzy, nice. Okay.
Yes. So that's my number 2.
All right. I'll clarify that because, like, sometimes we comment on each other's points as they're going through them. My number 2 is not this, but I'll make it this because it's easier for the conversation. Because I also have Brees Hall in my top 5, so I'll just address it immediately. It makes more sense logically as we're talking here. Mine is franchise tag Brees Hall. Tag, you're it. Is franchise tag Brees Hall.
That's your number 2?
Yeah, I said it's not really my number 2, but because you just brought up Brees Hall,
it
makes more sense for us to talk about it together. Again, it's in my top 5, but it wouldn't have been number 2. But for our conversation piece, it probably makes more sense to just talk about it right now. So I will make it my number 2, even though it's not.
Gotcha. Sorry about that.
And no, that's okay. So tag, you're it. And this opens up for everybody. If I want to tag and trade him, that option is on the table. If I just want to keep him and ride it out, the franchise tag is $14.1 million projected for this year. That's not official yet because we don't know the salary cap. So there's a few other modifications that will take place before we know the true franchise tag number when that's released by the National Football League. But I'm going to tag him to keep him at the 1-year number, and I will just, maximize and use him like nobody's business in 2026. And then I can tag him again in 2027, or I can let him go. I can make all kinds of decisions. So I am 100% tagging him. I don't give a shit about the $14 million. And if we can negotiate it to a lower number, like your projection, right? You're not projecting $14 million per year on your extension. It's less than that. So could I use that as a negotiating ploy to say, hey, Brees, you don't want to be on this tag, and we don't want you on this tag. Let's get a lower number that's lower than the franchise tag, and it's better for everybody. I'm open to that as well. But just franchise tagging him, I think, is the best play. Because, and again, this is sunk cost fallacy, right? It already happened. I can't get it back, but it's still on my mind. And the Jets could have traded Brees Hall for a 4. They chose not to. They demanded a 3. They didn't get a 3. Now, you could say, Chiefs, you cheap bastards, you should have given up the 3. They didn't. But okay, we wanted a 4. And now to let him go in free agency, I don't believe that the Jets are going to get any comp picks next year. We're going to have comp picks this year based on things that happen, and we'll do that on another show. But the comp picks for next year, Jets ain't getting bupkis. They're going to have $100 million cap space. They're going to be spending like nobody's business. So whatever comp pick they could have maybe gotten for Breece Hall is going to be canceled by another one of their signings. So I'm not losing Breece for nothing. I refuse. And I think Breece is a very talented player. So I am absolutely franchise tagging Breece, and then let's see what happens from there. It could be a tag and trade. It could be an extension. It could be playing it out for the season. I just think that makes a lot of sense there. So Breece Hall tag. Is there anything you want to contribute to that before I move on to our next one?
No. Hit us with number 3.
So there you go for Breece.
Number 2.
Now let's go to
number 3.
Now, this one would have been number 2, but I just slightly shifted him for the sake of conversation. I'm getting the scuba gear on. I'm making another free agent splash. Okay? That's what I'm doing. And I'm signing this man. I did an episode about him already on Boy Green Daily, and now I will spread it to the Boy Green Beach Wudi community. I'm signing Tyler Linderbaum, and I'm making him the highest paid center in NFL history. The highest paid center right now is Creed Humphrey at $18 million per year. I'm willing to sign Tyler Linderbaum at $20 million per year, $2 million more than the highest paid center of all time. I'll give him a 5-year deal for $100 million. It doesn't matter. We can negotiate on the years. I want to go as far as 5 years, $100 million. I'd go 4 years for 80. I'd go 3 for 60. If he wants to dip back into free agency years later, that's fine with me. We can work that out. But I'm signing him. And I want some clarity all over the place. Paul, center isn't our biggest need. I'd concur. I'd agree. I don't think it is. I think Josh Myers is fine. He's just solid. He's not great, not terrible, although some people would argue he's terrible based on PFF analytics, but he's just rock solid. I think we could do better, and that's why I'm going after Linderbaum. But also, here's the other part of the conversation. Well, Paul, if that's not our biggest need, why are we doing it? Well, I don't get to go to the free agency Wizard of Oz and go, oh, Wizard, geez, we need a quarterback. Can you just give us the best quarterback in free agency? Oh, no, you can't. Oh, that's Malik Willis. Shit. Well, damn. Okay, well, we need a pass rusher, Wizard. Can you give us a pass rusher? Can you give us a this? That's not how it works. There are just free agents that just happen to be available, and we all need to sort through the best ones available and make business decisions. Tyler Linderbaum is going to be one of the best free agents on the board. And yes, he happens to be a center, which is not our biggest need, but I want to get better as a football team. We were 3-14. We sucked. We need more really good football players. Tyler Linderbaum would complete the Jets' offensive line on top of, again, bringing back one of John Simpson or AVT. And then you got your starting 5 on lock, and you feel great about that line. So I am willing to pay the iron price. And I've talked about this before, but I'll give a fast-forwarded version here. This is a unique opportunity. Players like Tyler Linderbaum do not hit free agency. The only reason he is twofold. And two of these things have a lot to do with each other. The Ravens declined his 5th-year option, which, by the way, Jacksonville did as well for Devin Lloyd. But for the Ravens, they declined his 5th-year option because the 5th-year option was $23 million. That is $5 million more than the highest-paid center at his position. The Ravens, of course, said, we're not paying that. Screw that. Decline 5th-year option. And now you could say to the audience, well, the Ravens could franchise tag Tyler Linderbaum. They don't have to let him go. Just so you know, folks, the franchise tag number for an offensive lineman is $27 million. So to give you some context, that's $9 million more than the highest paid center in the NFL. Spoiler alert, they're not giving him the franchise tag. So if Linderbaum and his agents care about money, which most people do, they're going to force their way to free agency. And even if they return to Baltimore, they're going to hit the open market to get the best deal they can. If they sign with Baltimore before free agency, they're taking a sweetheart deal, which wouldn't make any sense. So Tyler Linderbaum is likely going to use this leverage to hit the open market, and the Jets will have a chance. If the Jets have a chance, I am making sure I maximize that chance by going all in to bring him in. By the way, the Ravens, have $13.8 million in cap space. They couldn't afford a franchise tag even if they wanted to, at 17th in the league. And again, as I mentioned, that franchise tag is more money than they have available. I'm going all in for Tyler Linderbaum. I'm making that splash. Whoever the hell's playing quarterback, I'm going to make sure they have a stud offensive line around him, and I'm surrounding that quarterback with pieces, because those pieces are not going to just be here for 2026. Those pieces are going to be here in the future. Give me Tyler Linderbaum, baby. Number 3.
Very interesting. I gotta agree with Slayman Sammy Joe here that I don't know if 20 is enough to play for the horrific Jets. Somebody who has only known playoff football and success, and if they're just going to be chasing a bag, then I think the bag is going to have to be a little bit fatter than that.
I'm willing to do it. Let me make that clear. 20, 21, 22, 23. Who gives a shit? It's not my money. Okay. Tyler Linderbaum, I'm willing to go that far. Now, I think $22 million more than the highest paid center in history. I think that's pretty high. I'd love to see who else is swimming in those generic waters. Maybe someone does. I don't know. But I know that a lot of teams aren't going to beat me. Here's another one, like the Giants. Everyone says, oh, she's going to follow John Harbaugh to the Giants. Look at the Giants cap situation. Where the hell is that money coming from? Okay? We don't just have a click our heels together. I'm doing all these Wizard of Oz references. I have no idea why. Take me to New York with the Giants. Click, click, click. I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not, sweetheart. It's not just some magic fairyland wish you can make. I don't think so.
Yes, but anyway, I don't know. If he's coming through this, almost sounds. I'm not gonna say Mahomes ish, but it
come on.
It just sounds like something that is probably not gonna happen.
What about CJ Mosley in 2019? He came from Baltimore.
Yeah, but he was. That's what I'm saying. He was wildly overpaid. It wasn't $2 million more than
It was though. Quan Alexander made $15 million a year, become the highest paid off-ball linebacker ever. CJ Mosley got $2 million more than that.
Yeah, but it was like for how many years? 5 years? 6 years?
Yeah, he had a 5-year, $85 million deal. CJ Mosley, 17
5 year. Yeah. So that's like in actuality, like 10 board.
Yeah, but it's the same. We're talking about. He is saying 20 is not enough. I'm saying 20 is per year instead of 18 per year. So 15 to 17. Quan Alexander was the highest paid linebacker in football.
We'll see.
At 15 mil.
Jets also. Actually, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say. We've been pretty bad the whole time.
Sure.
So who knows if the perception was as bad then as it is now? I don't think it was, but obviously, like Linderbaum would be cool. It's actually pretty funny that you brought this up because I was looking. I want to say, I guess, like the last time I saw them play, and I was thinking, like, damn, like it's been such a long time since like we had, obviously RIP Nick Mangold, our guy, like that we had a man in the middle like that. So that would be nice. But I also like the line. Like when you're like you said, we're 3-14, you gotta improve the roster. I just feel like there are so many actual holes that could be addressed. But I understand where you're coming from. I like what you said before about, can I get the best QB? Like, sometimes you gotta take what's available. So not bad, BG.
Okay, there you go. Real quick, I see there's another comment. I want to flesh these out when people have comments. CBW, your buddy, says Ravens could go transition tag. I'm glad you brought that up, CBW. The transition tag for an offensive lineman is $24.6 million. What is that math? That is $6.6 million more than the highest paid center in football. So once again, I say No, they're not going to transition tag. First off, they don't have the money to, and secondly, they won't. And here's this: they had the 5th-year option that was $23 million. The transition tag, in which you've suggested, is more expensive than the 5th-year option that they already said no to. So that doesn't make any sense. So literally, the Ravens have no mechanism to prevent him from reaching free agency. Could he just say, "Go Ravens, Ravens flock"? I'll take a discount. Sure, it's possible. Players do it. If it happens, God bless, he's an idiot. But it could happen. But outside of that homerism happening here, this is Tyler Linderbaum's first chance to ever get money. And I doubt that, especially with his coach gone too, with Harbaugh gone, he doesn't even know who his head coach is. I don't either. They've got no one there. So no, there's no transition tag, no franchise tag, no nothing. They literally have no mechanism to keep him of realistic value, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm pretty passionate about it. But I like Linderbaum, and we'll see if it happens. But Woody, are you ready for some perimeter range? Are you ready to take a shot from back there?
Yes, sir.
Number 3.
So this was what you were saying. To me, there's two schools of thought. You get, the long-term solution, or you get a more short-term gap piece. Who the difference is that short-term person is going to be much older, much wiser. And, is going to be able to, they know why they're there. They are helping the people around them become better. Whereas the younger person is there to lead by example and actually produce results on the field. So your linebacker was Devin Lloyd. And I guess I didn't, make that clear enough when I started speaking. But, yeah, I'm talking about the linebacker position, because again, this defense was horrible, and I think we are missing leadership. I went with a more short-term, like we don't even know who the DC is, so having somebody who just recently was credited for helping turn around, a bottom-dwelling program in Washington. And now as a free agent, I would love to get the legendary Bobby Wagner in a New York Jets uniform. Now,
wow,
we agreed that I think it is a hard sell to get people to come here, and we would have to overpay. But so far, my overpays. Right, on Spot Track, he's listed at $8 million.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going by your logic, 10, that's nothing crazy. I've overpaid Brees to the tune of 12, and Wagner for the tune of 10. But it's exactly what we were talking about before. You need people out there. Veterans do help football teams. Bobby just was a part of a turnaround in Washington, and he helped turn them around. And without knowing who the DC is, especially if they're choosing somebody who hasn't done it before, his presence will be immense for the people on the squad.
Oh, Captain, my captain. We've had that void with CJ Mosley gone, unfortunately. Should have filled that void with a veteran linebacker. Oh, yes, I'm totally with that. I have a different name in mind that I'll release on a future Boy Green Daily episode. There's a tease and a half. But I do like the thought process of filling it with, Captain, my captain. Look at that Washington turnaround. I like that. I like the cut of your jib there, Woody.
Appreciate it. So I guess I'm hitting you with number 4 too. Then
Number 4.
Well, I'm addressing another position that Boy Green has already addressed, and that is the offensive line. I'm not signing anybody to a $20 million contract. But I mean, Tyler Linderbaum, he's good. He's good. I'm not saying that. But I'm not doing that. I'm just re-signing AVT. Actually, I don't think he will cost anywhere close to that. I do think he will obviously have interest on the open market. But I would just outbid them, and of course he has. It would be with a huge discount with all the injuries. But obviously, you usually don't suffer like two like in a row like that. You're pretty safe, for this year, assuming that he can play like 12 games. So I think it would be super helpful to have, as you guys may already remember from my earlier additions from my list, right? We have Kyler, we have Brees. So I'm going to need the offensive line to look as spiffy as possible. And I think signing AVT, who, in my opinion, is the best when they're all healthy. I don't know. Membu now is out here doing some work. But AVT is still right up there with the best of them. So re-signing AVT, that's my number 4.
I love it. I'll give my 4 and 5 share in just a second. We have 300 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, baby. And if you want more sick takes that you've been getting from Wudi, well, you can do it at Take Flight Talk, baby, because he's got plenty of sick takes. And I mean sick in the sense of the 1990s. Like sick, bro. Like that was a sick take, man. A sick take that someone can vibe with. So again, more of those sick takes. Take Flight Talk, a little TFT action for you, huh? YouTube.com/Take Flight Talk. Make sure you guys support my man, James Arthur Wudi. I don't know if that's really your middle name, but I just I'm going to try a few out. Try a few out there in the middle name to when I normally it's a bad thing when you go like Alvin and the Chipmunks, although he only says the first name. You know what? Never mind. Let's get to the rest of this list, Wudi. Let's get to the rest of this list. First off, let's hit him with a 4-piece combo.
Number 4.
Number 4 on my list here. And I haven't addressed a quarterback position. That's of some relative importance. And I could go AG here and say, we're going to have a starting quarterback. And just not reveal the name. I could do that. But instead, Wudi almost had it right. You almost had it right, Wudi. I give you credit for almost having it. But I'm afraid you picked the wrong quarterback with the first name beginning with a K. Because it's Captain Kirk Cousins, baby, is the direction the New York Jets should go. Oh, Captain, my Captain. He could be released by the Atlanta Falcons. He and the Falcons agreed to a new contract structure adjustment, which means, long story short, right around March 13th, the Falcons have to make a decision on his contract. And with how it sets up, it appears he is scheduled to be cut unless there is another alteration now that they have a head coach in with Kevin Stefanski, which means that free agent market, which looks a little bit dire, could have some fresh infusion of Cousins action, which I believe is where the Jets should go. This is a guy, and I think he really did a really nice job of rebuilding his image on the Netflix quarterback series on both seasons 1 and 2, of showing everybody what he's all about, the mentor, how much he cares, and his tape study and things of that nature. And the Jets need a professional quarterback, and well, Kirk Cousins checks that box. He's the dad of quarterbacks. Him and his flannel button-ups and jean pants and khaki pants strutting around. So, I want some Kirk Cousins action, and I would like the Jets to sign him. I don't believe a trade will have to happen here. So that is good news for the New York Jets. Do you have any comment on Captain Kirk Cousins here, Woodster?
I like Kirk. So I don't have anything. I don't have anything negative to say.
Okay.
Obviously, he is one of my ideal mentors for the next QB up in coming.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking for upside, then you go there was a lot of Indy Jets that were expecting Fields to be like MVP this year. If you still want to remain that delusional about the QB choice this year, that's where you would go Kyler, because Kyler again, has a lot to prove. He is looking to have a year like that, so that he can get another contract like what he wants. Kirk, unfortunately, those days are gone. I'm not saying, his best days are just not behind. They're behind him. It just is what it is. So, but I like him.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. Because, something that always throws me off, Quinnen Williams, he's not here anymore. Sorry to bring that back up. But when he was doing media things, he would throw me off. I wasn't ever in a lot of rooms where I'm interviewing Quinnen, but he ends his answers on so. And then you're like, so lean in because so is there more? He's like, hey, Quinnen, what you think about that Falcons game? Yeah, we gave it all we could, and that's what we're doing. So, and that's the end. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, here's my next question. So a little bit of that action happened here. But speaking of good news, I want to take a quick detour on our top 5 list here, Woody, because Lou B Super Jets fan has a super chat, baby, and I saw this news earlier today.
Wow.
For a fact, there's an article about to come out on Heavy on Jets. I was at the goal line here, and then we had to do some Boy Green Meets Woody, so this article will be dropping shortly after the show. Massive news, a double dip of good news, which is sort of the theme of my article. Number 1, the Cowboys have hired a new defensive coordinator. Drum roll. Christian Parker. You may say, who the hell is that? Well, 2 things here. It's not Jim Leonard. That's good news. And secondly, that guy wasn't even on the list of names that the Jets spoke to. Now, I'm not trying to crap on Christian Parker here. The Cowboys are hurting a division rival and getting a guy who's considered a bright mind. So that's great. But from just a pure Jets perspective, Christian Parker wasn't on our list. So this iconic franchise, the Cowboys, who have won 5 Super Bowls, and they have all this gravitas of being Dallas, and the Cowboys spoke to half of our list. 4 of the 8 guys on our list, the Cowboys also spoke to for the DC role. So we were competing with the Cowboys, and they decided to zig instead of zag. So we don't lose anyone on our list. That's good news. And one of the top attractive DC jobs is off the market, and we were unaffected by it, which is good. They also spoke to Jim Leonard. That was one of their groups. So yes, if you were a Jets fan, this broke, 2 or 3 hours ago. You should be elated with this news. This is a team that, and again, I wrote about this in Jim CBW. I'm calling you out, buddy, because I've gotten all kinds of tweets, and he loves to tweet at me and then tag you and go like, look at this idiot, right, Woody? And he tags you. I don't know if I'm about to get double teamed if I'm walking down an alleyway. Something's about to happen here. But I wrote and suggested, and I wrote an article about a week and a half ago said, no, it sounds like the Cowboys are going to make a decision sooner rather than later, and the Broncos win, which they did against the Buffalo Bills. That's good news for the Jets, because if the Cowboys are impatient, they will be forced to go in another direction. They or anyone else can't have an in-person interview with Jim Leonard until this upcoming Monday. So I said, you know what? I'm sensing the Cowboys going to make a decision before that, which is good news for the Jets. And Jim CBW said, yeah, the Cowboys are so interested. That's what I'm reading. I'm like, I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. And boom, when I saw that, the first thing I did was pelvic thrust of Jim CBW. Suck it, baby. Suck it. So, okay. There we go, baby. Now, Jim's not a member of the Jets yet or anything like that, but I just want to throw it out there. One of the top gigs is off the market, and it didn't have any of the Jets guys, and certainly didn't have Jim Leonard. So again, patience is a virtue. We'll see if AG continues to champion that and see if that's part of the conversation. So Luby, thank you for that super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. And thank you for sending that in. So yes, more to come on that. I'll have a full story out here in a little bit. Anywho, let's get back to it. Let's refocus here. Let's finish it off with the good old Number 5. Now, this one's going to sound bizarre. I don't know if anyone's talked about it. I don't know. We'll see what everyone thinks about it. So I think we all agree the Jets need help at wide receiver. But this name, I don't know if anyone's talking about. The New York Jets should trade for Quentin Johnston of the LA Chargers. Okay? He is a former first-round pick of the Chargers, and he was red hot to begin the season. Absolutely red hot. He had, in the first 4 games of the season, he had 22 catches, 337 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He was on fire. And anyone who had him in fantasy, blessed be he. Bill Barnwell put Quentin Johnston on his wide receiver trade target list for ESPN about 13 hours ago as I was going through the options. The Jets need more help, but where could that help come from? I don't want like an A.J. Brown or something crazy. Let some other contender do that. I want someone that doesn't have that kind of name power, but effective, young, that kind of potential.
Drops the ball every game.
Actually, that was more a case in 2024, not 2025. He curtailed a lot of those issues, according to the analytics. Okay. He curtailed some of those issues. So he did have in the past. Okay. So if you want to berate a guy for the past, that's fine. But for the immediate past, Quentin Johnston turned those problems around. So you could probably get him at a discount and add him to the wide receiver room. So he's a guy, again, I'm looking for youth. I'm looking for upside, but again, still could fit with what the Jets are trying to do. I like the deep shot element. We had a lot of that from Quentin Johnston. That's the kind of compliment I want opposite of Garrett Wilson, if I can do that as well. And then also you could attack that position during the draft as well. So trading for Quentin Johnston from the LA Chargers is a move I would like to pluck from the old apple tree.
Yeah. I mean, he was one of the bigger busts in that draft class. He did have a nice, start to the season, right? He was scoring touchdowns. Oh my God, a drop machine. I'll never forget. I forget who they were playing on Monday night. I said, I'll never forget. And then my next sentence is, I forget who they were playing. But what I won't forget is the fact that I was only winning by 1.8, and I was going against Quentin Johnston. And I was like, damn, like clearly he's going to get more than 1.8. Mm-hmm. And this dude did not drop the ball once.
Boom.
Not twice. Not 3 times. This dude had 6 drops. Wow. I had a total of 0 points and got me that fantasy football dub. I was like, yo, this dude stinks.
I see.
And given the vitriol you guys all have for Allen Lazard, I'm not seeing a big strong fit there.
Okay, so you want to punt on that? That's okay. No worries there. I understand. By the way, Jim CBW is this is a weird way to just say, I'm sorry, Paul, you were right. So, Jim, just I'm sorry. I apologize. There's a lot of ways you can say it, Jim. Google it, okay? Look up different languages you can say it in. I'm sorry, Paul. You were right and you're the best, okay? Just look that up and then let me know. Japanese, perhaps. I will accept it in a lot of different ways. But Wudi, you're number 5. Let's hit it.
Number 5.
This might seem like a cop-out answer.
Oh boy,
because it's like a whole bunch of different things, as opposed to just like one action.
Yeah, sure. That was sort of the general thesis. Yeah.
But drafting, having an intentionally defensive heavy draft. If you want to draft a receiver, you can. As I've gone on record, and I said it last, Tuesday, I said, I'm a big AD Mitchell fan. I've yet to meet somebody who loves him more than me. Quentin Johnston, to me, is not even like an upgrade. He is physically and on paper he should be. But actually, I'm not gonna lie. Like on paper and statistically, yeah. But me trusting in the development of AD and what Tanner and Trent, that's what I wanted to see, was them on the field together. But I'm okay with drafting another receiver, whether that's Lemon, or Tyson. Really excites me. But this draft has to be that's the only position that I would draft on offense is wide receiver. And now you have a situation where next year, given you did everything that I did, you've given Kyler what he needs: 2 dynamic receivers, dual threat running back, solidified I just refortified the offensive line, and you got a veteran back there on the other side to try to get all these young guys right. Like, so now you did that at the same time. All these draftees for now, Uncle Bobby, we're gonna sit around the campfire and sing a campfire song, and I feel like that's just the perfect way to get things rolling. Kind of, get some jumper cables on this rebuild. Is to get all those young kids in there with a legend like Bobby Wagner, and then if they secure a wide receiver, that would be great too. I would not, and this might just be me being superstitious. I would not draft a receiver in the second round. I don't know. It's just something that's been happening. But what I would do, like, that 33, maybe ship that off with like a 5th and like literally pick 32nd, and
I see.
And just have a 3rd first round pick, and there you go. There's your receiver, and he won't be asked. But the second round, I don't even know what to tell you about the history there. But that would be my number 5.
Let's answer a bunch of questions here, and nice number 5. That's different. That's not where I thought you were going to go, but that's what I love surprises for. Boss Girl 8, who's been killing it on both Take Flight Talk and my YouTube channel, which we appreciate. BG, what's the timeline on Leonard? When is he able to do second interviews for teams he wants to? Great question, Boss Girl, and also explain this. I'll have a YouTube short out on this after the show. So Jim Leonard, whether the Broncos win or lose this weekend in the AFC Championship game, and please win, fuck the Patriots. But whether they win or lose, Jim Leonard on Monday is allowed to do in-person interviews because either Denver will be eliminated and they lose and their season's over, so that will open up the doors for him to speak with other teams, or it will be the bye week before the Super Bowl. So that would also allow him to do those in-person interviews. So yes, what the Jets could do is have that bleep ready. Because again, technically, it doesn't matter if they win or lose, that in-person interview could happen. So if you're the Jets, you could say, hey, Jim, or Jim's agent, if that's who they're talking with, hey, set us up for Monday at 8 a.m. We don't care if you guys win or lose. Yeah, hopefully you guys win for your sake. But for us, we'd love to speak with you on Monday and get first in line. Again, we will see. Today is Thursday, as we're doing Board Agreements, we do, of course, every Thursday. And we'll see if the Jets are patient. Now, we're already here at Thursday. What's a couple more days? So, like, if AG hires someone today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd be a little underwhelmed unless Leonard just told them they had no chance, which maybe we'll never hear if that really happened. That I would be disappointed if the Jets didn't at least now wait it out. Like, Cowboys are gone. There's still a bunch of other teams looking for DCs, but like push it to next week and try to see if you can catch this fish. And so a lot of people in the audience don't think AG will be able to, but I'd love to see it. So again, long story short, that will be happening on Monday. These in-person interviews for whoever he would like. And he's been requested by a lot of teams. So we'll see what happens there, but appreciate that. Boss Girl saying, thanks for the info. If it would help, they should offer him Coke and hookers, not ended. Please, Jim, please. Well, whatever works. I didn't see that back into the comment before I threw that up on the screen, but you know what? It's Thursday somewhere, right? Or 5 o'clock somewhere, Friday somewhere. I don't know. Anywho, there's a couple of love for the Take Flight Talk channel. I see Michael Palermo on Take Flight Talk says, throw some likes to Woody's. There you go. Get some TFT action there. I love it. Also, I see some more love. Where was this? Who just said it? Someone just gave you more love. Unless I
did see just win Super Bowl before I die. It was a very nice.
There it is. Yes.
Message. Yeah. No, this means a lot. Appreciate it. And yeah, I might need to calm that freaky down. I can't.
Whoa.
The show is definitely a lot of fun, and like I said, 3 different perspectives, coming from different places. So definitely got to check out the channel. And promise I will not have a high fever every time that we do a video. I do have one right now because I saw those questions a little bit earlier. They're long gone now because it was like 20 minutes in. But yes, that is why I have a high fever. But I'm out here dedicated to the brand. We say Tuesdays, Thursdays at 3. That's where I'm at. Tuesdays, Thursdays at 3.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us here on the program. Thank you for the Lou B Super Chat. Thank you guys for your questions and comments. Again, if you are watching this channel, we are streaming live on 5 different destinations. And I don't expect all of you to peruse the 5 different destinations. But if you are in the perusing mood, there are 2 absolute favorites we'd love for you to do it to. That is my YouTube channel and Wudi's YouTube channel. Those are the headquarters. Even if you're a fan, I see Jim CBW is always representing Twitter, and I see it 247 people are over on Twitter as well, which is great, and I appreciate that. But even if you do, the Jim CBWs of the world, I'd love for you to guys subscribe on both of our channels, and then you can go back to Twitter interactions if that's what you prefer, just to support the channel. If you give a flying hoot about me or Wudi, that's how we're able to pay our bills, keep the lights on, and have all that kind of action. So please make sure you guys do that. So on your way out on YouTube, if you're live, like the video, hit subscribe as we both grow our armies of subscribers. And if you're watching after the fact, we appreciate it as well. So, Wudi, any final goodbyes? Any TFT Instagrammers you want to give some love to or what have you? Anyone out there in the universe while you still have a few breaths left?
I hope you guys had a great time. I definitely enjoyed hearing Boy Green's list. I was pleasantly surprised to, see that it was very similar to my list in a lot of ways. We attacked pretty much the same positions, actually. So I thought it was super cool. Let us know your 5 on the comments of these 2 videos on these 2 channels, and looking forward to seeing those. And we will be back like we never left next Tuesday at 3.
And we will see if on next Tuesday at 3, do we know our DC? Because if so, of course, we'll have a full episode talking about that, reacting to the latest news and nuggets and things of that nature. So again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Wudi for his health, at least living to 4:03 here on a Thursday. And hopefully he has many more Boy Green Meets Wudis left before he's 6 feet in the ground. So people, God bless. Thanks for joining us, and we have a lot of fun doing these shows, people. And thank you to the audience out there. You guys are the best. I will be back tomorrow morning for another episode of Boy Green Daily. Of course, Bob Lederer will make his return, and then Boy Green Meets Wudi returns on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take